Good morning. Pastor Ron Jetter, Immanuel Lutheran Church, Grandview, Washington, back with my daily message after looking last week at various aspects of grief and bereavement. I hope that those were helpful for you if you watched them. If necessary, or if helpful, you could refer someone else to watch those as well. Please feel free to share the links. Back to the book of Exodus. Monday, the 14th of December. After a little bit of snow yesterday, we're back to the same old things melted off, but still wet, cool, cold, cloudy, frosty. Probably won't see the sun more than a few minutes. Wow, fog. That's just kind of what we might call the doldrums of December. I wish it would just open up and snow, or let the sun shine, or both. Anything but just this Western Washington weather, this Seattle grayness. No wonder we live in Eastern Washington. Who could take this month after month? Good thing we get 300 days of sun a year. I guess we can put up with a little. We've learned to put up with things after all. We've been putting up with COVID. We've been putting up with Zoom worship since March 15th. We've been putting up with being isolated in our homes, wearing masks in our stores, not going out to restaurants with friends. Can't remember the last time I was in a movie theater, but then that's partly just our age. We haven't been to a lot of movie theaters in the last few years. As it is, we're happy to wait until it comes out on streaming. After all, with the 60 or 70-inch TVs that we have in our homes now, who really needs the big screen? It's fun occasionally, but it has to be a pretty good movie. I remember a movie we saw on the big screen about the Washington Post breaking the story of Watergate. Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. It got critical acclaim, and of course, because it was such an intellectual and slow-moving kind of movie, the half a dozen or so adults in the theater at any given time really enjoyed it, and the mass public, of course, panned it. Not the kind of thing they're interested in. They didn't destroy any cars. They didn't blow anything up. It was simply slow detective kind of work, like newspaper reporters do. Well, I have learned a lot in the 3 weeks that I have been a dog owner again. Pomeranians are small enough, and they're just, someone called them supercharged people lovers. They jump, they hop, but when they just sit and cuddle, they're adorable. And you can pick them up and brush them and wash them and put them in a car and put them in a bathtub when they need it. It's just pretty easy to do. A 60-pound, energetic, 13-month-old female white shepherd collie mix is a different thing entirely, a handful. We would give her rawhide bones to chew the first few days. She hid them. She actually went, we have a big house upstairs, downstairs. She hid those bones, would not eat them. And then several days later, when she was bored, she'd go back and get the bones that she had hidden, and then she would chew on them. But again, out of our sight. Now, 3 weeks later, we give her a bone. She sits down, chews it right in front of us. What does that say? It says that there's a trust factor. She knows two things. She knows we have her best interest in mind, that we're not going to take it after we give it. And second of all, she knows that there's going to be more, that she doesn't have to hide it away for a rainy day, because there seems to be so far a renewable supply of bones and chews and treats and toys and food and water and letting her in and letting her out, and of cats to chase in the neighborhood. We've also learned, though, that when she gets out, she goes into panic mode or hyperactive mode. We have this gland in our head called the amygdala, the fight, freeze, or flee. It dumps all sorts of chemicals into our body, and it short circuits the right prefrontal cortex, where we do creative thinking, and instead relies on speed, panic, and sheer instinct, habitual response. When we're in danger, when we're super angered, super excited, the amygdala just floods that right brain or that left brain, and all of the the glands in our body, our heart rate goes up, our respiration goes up, the adrenaline is just flowing. We can do super energetic things, and we'll have a crash later on when it comes down. But animals have that in spades, and especially our dog when she sees a cat. And so we got her a harness to take her on walks because she got out of her collar. We had to chase her, and then trying to get her in the car when she was several streets away. It was a fight, and we were dirty, she was dirty. We had to give her a bath, and boy, did she fight that. But afterward, we brushed her out, and she was fine with the brushing, and she was silky smooth and just beautiful. Very, very friendly dog, except when her mind is short-circuited by the amygdala and goes into cat mode. So yesterday, we're walking her, and she got out of a harness. I guess the harness isn't tight enough if she can actually fight and wiggle her way out of it, because there was a cat 4 feet away, and she wanted that cat. And it took about a half hour of chasing her around the neighborhood, driving and walking, each of us talking by phone. So we realized, okay, we have to limit the damage that she can do to others and to herself. We have to limit the damage she can do to us and the amount of time and energy. If she knocked us over, which she could easily do, we could break a bone, and we're getting up there. It would hurt, and it would take a while to heal. We have to limit her. We have to give greater and greater restrictions. Well, you give restrictions in response to the need for more restrictions. You don't create laws and rules until there's a need, until there's an obvious reason to put up a fence that says when that fence is crossed, when that line is crossed, when that rule is crossed, something happens that destroys individuals, that destroys societies. That's what the 10 Commandments are really about. It's putting up this hedge on human behavior to protect us. And in the aftermath of the 10 Commandments from Exodus 20, we get several chapters of a lot more specific rules. It's odd that these made the big book, the Bible, the Jewish scriptures, the Tanakh itself, the 37 books. Wow. Or is it 47? 47 and 27, 74, right. So, listen to this, for instance, from Exodus 22:33. If someone leaves a pit open or digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit shall make restitution, giving money to its owner, but keeping the dead animal. So you've just bought yourself someone's donkey or ox. So these things must have happened. 35. If someone's ox hurts the ox of another so that it dies, then it shall sell the live ox and divide the price of it. And the dead animal they shall also divide. But if it was known that the ox was accustomed to gore in the past, and the owner has not restrained it, the owner shall restore ox for ox, but keep the dead animal. So if it's accidental that my animal kills your animal, we split the meat, and then I give you half the price. But if you know and I know that I should have restrained, I should have put fences and bridles and leashes and made sure that animal did not get out and gore, then I've just bought the ox. So whatever you say the fair price is. If I don't like the fair price, well, then I can go to, that's a whole different chapter on restitution and tribunal. Chapter 23, we have these, again, more laws, but I wanted to just point out under a section called social and religious laws. You shall not wrong or oppress a resident alien, for you were aliens in the land of Egypt. So the stranger who is with you, who is not Jewish, you don't persecute them, or in that case, Israelite, not just Jewish, because there were 12 tribes, not just the one. Whoever, you shall not abuse any widow or orphan. If you do abuse them, when they cry out to me, I will surely heed their cry. My wrath will burn, and I will kill you with the sword. And your wives shall become widows, and your children orphans. Do not abuse the widow or orphan under special protection. And this is something to remember as you read the rest of the Bible. Widows and orphans are among the little ones. When Jesus says, blessed are the little ones, or says, insomuch as you have done it to these least of them, the little ones, you have done it to me. The widows, the orphans, and the poor. Some have called this God's option for the poor. Verse 25. If you lend money to my people, the poor among you, you shall not deal with them as a creditor. You shall not exact interest from them. You shall not charge the poor interest on money loaned to them. Well, the way to avoid that is to never loan money to the poor. Are you then sinning? Yes, because then you are ignoring your neighbor's need. Jesus summed it up this way. Love your neighbor. Give to those who beg. Pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah. When it's all about me, I'll find a reason not to do that, won't I? That's why we needed laws, because the selfishness, the wanting to take advantage, the wanting to get ahead at the expense of others, and even at the expense of social harmony, is what sin is and does. My dog needs boundaries. I need boundaries. You need boundaries.